McDonald's is leaving Russia. And if you read most of the news about it in the corporate legacy press, you will think that along with McDonald's goes light, democracy, freedom, not heart disease, not heart disease. That they forgot to mention, but all those other things. There are a couple articles from the AP that a lot of these outlets are just recycling. My favorite headline is once a powerful symbol in Russia, McDonald's withdraws. 2 months after the Berlin Wall fell, another powerful symbol opened its doors in the middle of Moscow, a gleaming new McDonald's. It was the first American fast food restaurant to enter the Soviet Union, reflecting the new political openness of the era. For Vlad Vexler, who as a 9-year-old waited in a 2-hour line to enter the restaurant near Moscow's Pushkin Square on its opening day in January 1990, it was a gateway to the utopia he imagined the West to be. We thought that life there was magical and there were no problems, said Vexler, a political philosopher and author who now lives in London. And you know what? I should probably look up this guy for another video, though, because for now, let's just quickly discuss how 9-year-old Vladimir, a child, waited in 2-hour line to eat fast food to participate in the utopic American experience. And reading some of these articles, nothing's really changed since little Vlad had his vision of what it would be like to have a Big Mac, because they're still sort of pushing the same messaging. McDonald's is leaving Russia altogether, CNN. They have a quote down here, which has been circulating in a lot of the articles and fits the narrative, but it must have been released in some kind of statement because a lot of the corporate news is using the same one. So this guy, Neil Saunders, managing director of global data, said in a note Monday, the quote is that McDonald's exit represents a new isolationism in Russia, which must now look inward for investment and consumer brand development, and added that other Western brands take principled stands on the concepts of freedom and democracy and revisit their businesses in Russia. Another quote I'll read you here. This one comes from Dara Goldstein, a Russia expert at Williams College, and said that its arrival, McDonald's arrival in Moscow, was more than just Big Macs and fries. It was the most prominent example of Soviet Union President Mikhail Gorbachev's attempt to open up his crumbling country to the outside world. Okay, it is the most prominent example. Let's just read the next quote. There was a really visible crack in the Iron Curtain, she previously said. It was very symbolic about the changes that were taking place. About 2 years later, the Soviet Union would collapse. And if you don't believe me that nothing's changed in the reporting about McDonald's in Russia, check out this video from CNN in the 90s.
In a dismal season for the Soviet economy, a golden vision of hope on the horizon.
Look, I'm the last person to tell you what to think about the Russia-Ukraine conflict, okay? I've had people from multiple perspectives on to talk about it, and they all make everybody angry. And so I'm not sitting here telling you how to think about geopolitics, but I am going to ask you a simple question, okay? Why do we still push companies like McDonald's in an era of Bill Gates owning the farmland, supply chain vulnerabilities, chronic disease? Why do we still push this as if this is the American dream? Honestly, I hate to say this, but I think Russia's probably better off. Actually, to be honest with you, nothing's really going to change because when I read the articles, I see they're just handing the restaurants over to local management, and they're probably going to stay exactly the same. They just don't get to use the golden arches. But this is an article that I did a video about last year. Phthalates on the fast food menu, chemicals linked to health problems found in McDonald's, Taco Bell. And, this is just one of the many things that you could talk about when you're discussing McDonald's. What I said in my video that I did about this last year is that these phthalates, which are essentially plasticizers, and they're put in all kinds of products, including your detergents and stuff that's making it through wastewater treatment plants, I would interview scientists, and these were at the top of their list of concerning chemicals, even more than back when Stephen Colbert did a funny video about salmon having cocaine in their brain. These scientists were far more concerned about the estrogenic effects that these phthalates were having on fish, because the male salmon were starting to produce egg yolk protein because of the estrogenic effects of these phthalates. And let me also bring your attention to this tweet from last year with the map of childhood obesity worldwide. And dark blue is not good. Dark blue is not good. Who's doing better, the United States or Russia? I'm just going to leave this one right here, okay? So this idea that that McDonald's pulling out of Russia is like what? That this is means you're going to like head back in time. Again, not telling you what to think about the conflict. Just telling you that these pieces of propaganda about how these major corporations are doing business and signaling what to their consumer base, I have no idea. Without the reporters doing the articles, asking some critical questions about whether, in fact, the same messaging from the 90s about McDonald's being the gateway to utopia is really, in fact, standing true. And am I blaming McDonald's for the United States obesity problems in full? No, I'm not. But come on. I mean, the whole fast food culture of the United States that we've been spreading all over the world in the name of being like America, cool, fashionable, free to go get a $2 hamburger. Like we're selling them a false bill of goods. And honestly, it makes me kind of laugh in a sad way, because does that mean we want Ukraine to get sicker? So McDonald's is pulling out of Russia to really teach them a lesson. And that's humanitarian. That's in the name of being a humanitarian. And they want others to follow suit. These people want others to follow suit. So one last thing here. This CNN article says that McDonald's said closing its restaurants in Russia had costed 127 million last quarter. That nearly 27 million came from staff costs, payments for leases and supplies, and the other 100 million was from food and other items that it's going to dump. So she's going to dump a bunch of stuff, just a bunch of garbage. What and food that could be eaten. Not even that I want people to eat this crap, but they're going to dump a bunch of food and garbage. And this is what we're cheering on. That's the American dream. But the good news is we still have it here in America, because nothing pairs better with inflammatory oils, high sodium content, food with which we have no connection, a vulnerable supply chain, cheap hamburgers, and plasticizers that have been linked to reproductive problems. Nothing pairs better with that than freedom. And that's what we have here. And don't forget to check out my sponsors, one of which is not McDonald's and definitely won't be after this video. But if you check out AllisonWinePromo.com, that's Allison with 1L winepromo.com, you will get 50% off some of the highest quality Malbecs from Argentina and 50% off shipping. These are my favorite wines by far. They are grown in remote high altitude regions of Argentina. 2 of these come from almost 9,000 feet. That means fewer pesticides, and the grape skins work a lot harder under the sun, producing more antioxidants and also a more robust flavor for the wine. So again, AllisonWinePromo.com. You cannot get these at a grocery store, and they make great gifts, but you can also go to TwinEngineCoffee.com/Allison. That's TwinEngineCoffee.com/Allison and pick up one of several high altitude USDA certified organic Nicaraguan roasts. There's light roast, there's dark roast. There's also a limited black edition, which is processed with honey, which is very good. But you can also check out the Caturra tea if you're a tea drinker. This is tea made out of the coffee fruit that's around the bean. It's very good. It tastes a lot like black tea. I like to cold brew mine for 24 hours, but you can hot brew yours as well. Add a little bit of lemon, maybe some monk fruit sweetener. It's very delicious. Wherever you are, whatever you're drinking, hopefully you're not eating McDonald's, but pair what you are eating with AllisonWinePromo.com or TwinEngineCoffee.com/Allison, and I will see you next time.